In the bottom left spawning as the blue Terran player. Playing for team... Actually, he doesn't have a team right now, does he?
Oh.
Without a team, it is the old BlizzCon champion ByuN. 2016? Yes, 2016. And the top right spawning as the Red Brothers player, it is Alpha X Zoun, or Joun, whatever you want to pronounce it.
June. Some people said, I'm not down for that. I'm calling him Zoun. I'm sorry.
I'll allow it, Wardy. Now we have a depot on the wall, on the ramp. And we have a barracks first, which indicates we're not going to be seeing an eBay block, which is really, it was really cool to see ByuN come back and immediately kind of innovate the matchup, right? With that eBay block and the gas first, which we hadn't seen before he started playing it a crap ton, or at least we had seen it, but not as much as when he started doing it. He really changed the way that people saw the eBay block, and as a result, a lot of tosses started walling on the low ground, so they can see the SCV come and pull 3-4 workers very quickly, and everything was fine in the world. Now, that's not the case this game, as we see barracks first, can be a Reaper, can be a Marine. Marine would indicate a slightly faster factory and maybe faster pressure. So that's going to be the first choice really that the Terran makes. Usually gets decided before the toss really decides anything. And it's going to be a Marine. So Chow needs to be careful of things like 4 Hellion proxy starport, faster Banshees, even things like a potential like Cyclone Viking push if you are opening Stargate. Depends of course a bit what you open as ByuN and Zoun as well. Gets a panel on the low ground and should start his second gas relatively quickly from now. And then decide his tech route.
Yeah, factory comes in and Marine popped out but didn't actually contest that probe at all, so he's just going to hang out on the high ground. Looks like he's waiting for the reactor to follow second gas, and we'll see where we go from here. You know what we have seen ByuN do a lot now that, you know, I think about the TvP I did cast off ByuN lately. He plays a lot of like very bio-heavy openings. Like he doesn't like 1-1-1 setup as much, and not to say that he's not going to do it at all. He might very well do it here, but he does like going like fast second, sometimes fast 3 racks in total. And that's something which I feel is, we see it like a little bit now and again, but it definitely isn't the go-to for TvP.
Oh yeah, it's not very common at all. But by the way, what you said about the Marine is true, and it's also kind of important because this might make the Protoss player think that it is a Reaper first, and because of that leave the first Adept at home. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. If you know it's Marine first, you're never ever gonna leave the first Adept at home. So right now maybe Zoun is thinking like, hey, he didn't SCV scout. It is completely possible that he's just scouting around with the Reaper looking for proxies, and that's why the Reaper didn't arrive yet, because otherwise he should have already scouted with his Adept. I mean, if there's a Marine, you get a free scout basically. You get to see whatever you want. It seems as well, by the way, that ByuN is going to be going for somewhat of either a Marine drop into a Hellion run-by or a Marine run-by with a Hellion drop. And in my opinion, that's going to be a Marine drop with a Hellion run-by, right? So you drop 7-8 Marines into the main base, and then you drive 3 Hellions into the natural. It's a strategy that isn't very common anymore, but it used to be a lot more common back in the day. We just don't see too much of it anymore, especially with Stargate being so extremely common. Battery going down in the natural as well. Second Phoenix on the way, so Zoun is in a perfect position really to deal with this, even though his information honestly has been rather limited up until this point.
Yeah, his setup's great. You know, nothing should really get past these Adepts very easily. The Phoenix are amazing in this kind of scenario, right? Like Phoenix are the kings of early game defense in TvT. You know, against stuff like this, you can chase down a medevac, you can lift up Hellions. The only odd thing is maybe how do the Phoenix handle Marines in the main if you want to keep the Adepts on the natural?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's fine if the Phoenixes are in position, but they definitely are not in position. Here comes a lift. 1 Marine goes down, but Phoenix taking a lot of damage as well. Just pulls the workers, the correct call probably. 1 Hellion goes down, second Hellion is about to fall as well. ByuN tries to get back in, but that won't work. And now the Adepts are here to try and clean up these Marines. Marines probably should be focusing down probes rather than that Adept, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like that could have been 5-6 probe kills easily, and instead he gets an Adept, and of course Adepts don't exactly scale super well. The only thing is maybe if he's afraid of like a Phoenix Adept counter. It was a smooth move from Zoun though, right? Pulls the probes, plays like a swapsies with the Phoenix and the Adepts. The Phoenix go to the Hellions, the Adepts shade back over to the main. Pretty well handled. feels like, yeah, maybe ByuN just could have gotten a little bit more out of that.
Yeah, ByuN, by the way, playing 3 racks behind this, which honestly, it has been something that I have been seeing where Terrans like to play 3 racks even against Phoenix. But usually whenever TOS used to open Phoenix, we almost always see those 3 CCs. Yeah, I don't think you can finish up that Shade Mate. Good call there by Zoun as he walks back with the Adept. His timing is over. Observer flies across the map and his first Colossus should start relatively soon. Now I love this scenario for Zoun where you're playing Phoenix Colossi and you're playing against a guy that just has a single tank. He even has a Raven, which usually isn't that useful against Phoenixes. It tends to kind of just die, you know? With that light damage, you see how quickly, I think 2 volleys from 4 Phoenixes and that Raven is practically dead.
Yeah. It feels impossible to get into use because to fly forward and hit a Matrix or whatever in a fight, yeah, you're just going to fly into those Phoenix and then what, like, you take 2 volleys, boom. Then you're Ravenless. So yeah, that's obviously not ideal. It's a shame because it's nice to have the Raven typically against Colossus, just not in this case. The Phoenix is even kind of flying around, almost finding it. Instead, we'll get a couple of SCVs. Phoenix keeping a lot of their energy, and I kind of like it. I feel like lately I've seen so many people using all their Phoenix energy, and then this push arrives, and they're like, oh, I've got, you know, dead weight Phoenix. So I kind of like maybe a bit much energy right now, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if he just goes for reinforcements at this point. You know, just grabs a couple of reinforcements. I don't think he should do anything here. I like that he's trying to get either some damage for the Raven or on those medevacs. And you see how difficult it is to move around here for ByuN without taking any damage, without losing any units. The Observer's gonna die for free if ByuN's paying attention. Yes, he is. Combat Shield is not done yet. I mean, without Combat Shield, these Marines are just gonna get fried. There's actually not that many Marauders here. I'm a little bit afraid here for ByuN, I have to admit.
Yeah, it's... he's going to put himself, try and put himself in the corner. He gets the anti-armor missile off, which hits everything. I mean, that might be best case scenario considering what we were just talking about. The Phoenix have evaporated, and ByuN's actually going to take this fight and really run with it. The anti-armor helping a lot. Can he get rid of the Colossi? He can get rid of one. He'll get rid of the other then. Wow, that's going to work.
That's absolutely crazy. There's no Colossi on the way. Oh, well, there's a Colossi on the way, but it's not close to finishing yet. I feel like ByuN could actually go for a killing move on the 3rd base, basically. Of course, he doesn't know how far the Colossi is off, but this is such a rough situation for Zoun right now. He really has nothing. He lost all of his anti-air, which also means drop just became a lot better. As there's no blink yet, there's not a single Phoenix. Like, how the hell is he gonna deal with drops? Well, let me tell you, he's not. There's a 3rd CC on the way here for ByuN, who already has +1 finished, 5 more gates coming out of Zoun. I mean, he has good eco, don't get me wrong, he has very, very good eco, and if he manages to hang on for 2.5 extra minutes, perhaps we can have somewhat of a game, but I mean, these mines are just zoning him out. He doesn't have detection with this army. He's losing probes on the 3rd base. Charge is about to finish up, but he only has 3 gates at the moment, and that's most likely not going to be enough good micro coming out of this Colossi, but GG gets called. There's just too much ByuN and too little Zoun, and as a famous caster once said, numbers are numbers, and the numbers on the side of ByuN were just a little bit higher here.
They were just a little...
Is that this is a best of 5, which means he has a couple of extra chances here, right? And this is one of those chances, as in the top right spawning as the blue Terran player, we have ByuN, who's up 1-0, and in the bottom left, as the red TOS, it is the man I was just talking about, it is Zoun. And there's another thing I've noticed, by the way, recently, Wardy, which I'm not entirely sure why this is happening, but the Reaper walls have been a lot less in Korea. It is not uncommon for Koreans to not Reaper wall a single time. And I'm not quite sure why.
No? Just no advantage from not Reaper walling?
Well, there is an advantage, which is that in case you're playing against a proxy Rex or a double depot wall, is that you don't need to get a 3rd pylon in order to put a battery in both of your bases. So I think it is slightly better in that situation. Oh, this is Proxy Marauder.
Wait, what?
Right?
Oh, sorry, I didn't see this SCV on the bottom.
Oh no,
side.
it's eBay block.
Yeah, I just saw the racks already at home, and I was like, I didn't see the SCV on this.
Well, you
can
can proxy the 2nd Rex as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I just didn't see the SCV on the bottom of the map, my bad.
Do you see what just happened there, Wardy?
He put the probe onto the Nexus, and the Nexus built before the SCV got there.
Yeah, but this only happens because he went Nexus before Core. I really, really like this. The greatest thing about it is that actually you're in a really nice situation versus Gas first as well, because your Stargate can be so freaking fast. I'd be shocked if he doesn't open Stargate right now. I think there's going to be a proxy Stargate even. This is such a good decision out of Zoun. I'm a massive fan of this, especially because ByuN is known to go into double Hellion or even 4 Hellion after this. So you just get three adepts, battery per mineral line, you proxy your Stargate, you get what, 6-7 kills with your Oracle, and you just don't lose anything at home, or you lose like 3-4 workers. CC is already delayed for ByuN. This is going to be absolutely fantastic for Zoun. I can feel it. The only thing that's lacking here is a pylon on the natural, which means that he might need to even cut cut mining on the natural for a bit, so there will be no probes on the natural whatsoever at a certain timing. So once the first 2 Hellions are out, you can still defend that with 2 adepts, but once Hellion 3 and 4 are out, I think he might have to pull back up. I wouldn't mind that decision. I think it would be a good decision, because there's no way he's gonna get a full wall or a battery here, right? He doesn't have the time.
Yep. No, it's definitely seems to make sense. It's going to be tough for ByuN. There's no anti-air, man. This Oracle's going to fly in, and this is going to be obviously a real test of just who can deal more damage. So, yeah, let's see if Zoun can minimize what these Hellions can achieve, because there's just nothing at all, like, even close to coming out defensively against an Oracle. Like, he sees it now. Hellion spots it. What's the decision? Puts the racks onto the reactor right away. Factory moves. Maybe just, I guess you have to go Widow Mine so you can at least zone it away from the mineral line.
This is the wrong call.
Yeah.
He should have doubled mines, I think. It's obvious to me he's never going to be in time with the Marines. It should be obvious to him as well.
Yeah, and then only 2 Marines as well, right? So it's like, well, what do you do? You know, even that's
like the Viking is going to come out before any... Oh my god, he's not controlling the Oracle because the Hellions at home are doing damage. There's no battery on the natural. There is a battery in the main, which means these 3 Hellions won't be able to do too much, but way more workers going down than I thought would have, and way less workers going down on the side of ByuN. Now, don't get me wrong, we're still in a situation in which Zoun is up a bunch of workers. He has good tech coming up, and he's most likely ready for whatever follow-up ByuN can throw at him. ByuN is extremely poor at this point, right? He's not even considering adding a second or a third Rex at this point, and I actually think in Zoun's head right now he's going like, perhaps a third base in the next 30 to 45 seconds. I could see myself do that. Let's get a battery and then start walking over towards a third base. Yeah, that's nice. That's really, really nice. This should be a push by ByuN, by the way.
Yeah, just
it's difficult to imagine something else, right? From double Viking.
Yeah, I mean, this sets up to be like the anti-Stargate, try and stop you getting a third base, right? You know, it's designed to try and not let you get the third so quick, but not sure how much you can do. Cyclone's moving out. I mean, the Vikings are now deciding to start moving as he sees where the Oracle is.
Yeah, it's a big tag, by the way. The revelation up there was really, really nice. Just shows that there's another factory unit and another Viking coming out, which if he was counting, he knew it would have been the third. He should have built a battery at the third base immediately after that revelation. Yeah, he's building it a little bit late. He's getting a lot of stalkers, and his blink is almost done as well. I mean, if blink finishes against a push where there's no tanks involved, that's just a death sentence for that push, honestly. Because you can just blink away, you tank a little bit with your stalkers. No battery being there yet is annoying. One Cyclone gets sniped immediately. Yeah, now the Oracle joins in the fight as well. This is looking very, very rough here for ByuN. Yeah. Decent micro coming out of Zoun. Not great. I think he's going to end up losing at least 1 stalker here. No. Yes, 1 stalker does go down. Another stalker will get targeted down. Number 3 gets microed back. Yes, this was a very nice defense here by Zoun, who continued building workers all the way throughout, and is going to be looking at a 10 worker lead very, very quickly once he gets a couple of chrono boosts rolling. Of course, his third base is done already. ByuN is barely starting, and the worst part for ByuN here is that barracks 2 and 3 are starting as the double forge is starting on the other side. Like, this is nightmare scenario, and the lip that's moving across the map will have to do a lot of damage. Blink forward, 2 shooting tanks. Of course, 7 stalkers can do that. A couple of Marines gonna go down as well. 2 stalkers, 3 stalkers. No, 2 stalkers will fall. but so will almost all the Marines. This looks awful for ByuN.
I mean, it's horrendous. The Liberator is going to be the only point of maybe saving grace, and he does get in no probe pull right away, so he's going to get a good few probes, but he still needs more than that, right? I mean, he just lost so much over here. All of his army just got reset. I mean, the one strong point was maybe the tanks. One of those went down. I mean, we're talking about no stim combat shields until 10 minutes in this game. So, sorry, not 10 minutes, 9 minutes in this game. This time the numbers don't add up. So you
numbers are numbers, Wardy. Don't forget.
Yeah, they are just numbers, but sometimes you gotta say the right numbers. But yeah, I mean, 2 more minutes until stim is done or whatever. Like, it's just, I mean, by then we're talking about double upgrades, charge, obviously, probably movement towards some splash damage as well, which is obviously not the priority here initially. But then that will be up before there's a stim pushed.
Sure, but that Liberator did do way too much damage. Not only was the pool slow, he also didn't pull the workers from the gas, which means he got 3 extra workers for free, and that actually is just honestly a little bit painful. Like, there's not much else to say about it, and supplies are getting closer. The infrastructure for ByuN is looking relatively healthy at this point, and because Zoun was dealing with those Marines on the other side of the map and with the Liberator at home, he actually delayed his own upgrades a bit. So upgrades relatively equal, and I know there's going to be a slight boost in supply coming up here for Zoun as his infrastructure finishes up. I actually think ByuN isn't in that bad of a position. I thought it was going to be much, much worse pre-Liberator harass.
Yep. It was, well, ByuN can't take a third just yet, though. Zilla in the way, and he's apparently afraid to take going that way. So now he goes the other way, and this is all just time where this CC is not landed. He's got SCVs oversaturating, and obviously that's not ideal either. So, yeah, maybe a little bit better for ByuN, but I still like it a lot for Zoun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Don't get me wrong. I love this position for Zoun. I mean, he's in firm control. Has good vision on the map. He has zealots all around. He has a prism. Do I like this push from Zoun? I mean, yeah, why not? There's no combat shield yet. If you can scare the guy a little bit longer, or you can even force another lift off here, then we're looking at a game that's getting close to unwinnable here. Guardian shield doing a lot of work. No combat shield on these Marines. 1-1 for both players, but all tanks are together here, and I don't think the DPS that's coming out of the army from ByuN is going to be quite enough. Does seem to be fine to push back temporarily, but here's the next warpin, and those zealots still have +1 armor as well, of course. I think with some good micro here, Zoun should be able to either do a lot of damage or a straight up kill. Yeah, I mean, I'm afraid it's just going to be a straight up kill.
Yeah, the zealots just shouldn't really be able to die fast enough, right? And that's the issue. If the zealots just never really die, the next round of zealots shows up, and then you're never getting rid of the Stalkers, the Immortal that's dealing damage behind it all. The third CC goes down, and obviously that's just a death sentence. Now in writing, as ByuN has basically nothing left, and again, behind all of this, you see double Colossus production, 2-2 upgrades, just in case ByuN found a way to slither out of this problem. There's so much more waiting for him.
Yeah, I mean, right now Zoun is looking at 3-4 things that just by themselves would be probably enough to finish this game, right? A 21 worker lead, 2-2 finishing up in half a minute or a minute, something like that. So it's like, and the Colossi against the army comp that ByuN is currently working with, all of these things individually should be enough to give the win to Zoun. But add those 3 things up, and we're looking at a game that is almost impossible to lose. Add on to that, by the way, that there's still a prism on the map, that Zoun still has fantastic map vision, especially on the sides. So he's always going to be in position unless he just falls asleep for a couple of seconds, and it does not quite manage to kind of stop this choke. But super battery here, 2 Colossi in action. There's a lot of Marauders here, which will be able to do a fair amount of damage, but these zealots aren't even dying. Wardy 2-2 does not need to be finished. Another Colossi is about to come out as well. This Immortal pushing out a lot of damage. I mean, this is just going to be it. As former Stalkers get warped in, Zoun manages to tie up the series 1-1.
Yeah, you have so many Marauders, but that means you just don't really chew through the Zealots at all. It's a tough one. GG's. Zoun 1-1. Played that one. Has a lot of potential. That potential just drop around everywhere and start to pull the Pros players apart a bit.
Yeah, I mean, there is some potential for drop play. You have a similar dynamic as you have on Pillars of Gold, right? Where if you're attacking, moving towards the natural from that right side, you're immediately threatening a drop in the main as well, which is always very dangerous. I remember Triton used to have that as well. Even a map like, I want to say Coda, which is a very old map, had similar patterns where it just felt very, very difficult sometimes, where if you don't have full information on what the Terran is doing exactly, you're almost always going to be caught out of position. And ByuN is someone that can definitely abuse that. We'll see how Zoun decides to deal with it. If we even get to that stage, of course, it's also possible we're going to be seeing some cheeky plays. But so far, just everything looks pretty standard to me, Wardy. We see a barracks first coming out of ByuN, and we just see a standard gate expand. Whether that's core first or nexus first, we're about to find out.
Yeah, bit of a more regular game that we get going early. No attempts to block Nexus or anything along those lines. And we'll get to see where these two want to take it, given a little bit of time to play off of their regular openings. Like I say, I'm interested to see if ByuN wants to go a bit more bio heavy, a bit more barracks heavy early, because it's something he's done a lot lately. Don't know if he's just done it to the point where he's like, I'm sick of this now. Because that's kind of what ByuN does, right? Like, he finds something that works, people start to figure it out, and he's like, right, no. Let's change it up and find something else that works a little bit. And then he does that for a long time, and then eventually he gets beat up a couple times and decides to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, that is kind of, he does like to abuse things until they get figured out. And it's funny because he's such a great tournament player, but he's also just one of those guys that he feels a bit like a ladder hero at times, you know, just using the same build again and again, and ooh, let's see if it works again, you know. Let's see, it doesn't matter if it's cheesy or not. He just plays what he thinks is best, and very often it's just a particular style or even just a particular build order that he really, really enjoys playing. And I mean, it works for him. Like, the guy's absolutely fantastic in, well, in my opinion, in most matchups. At least the TvP that I've seen him play, he looks very, very clean a lot of the time.
Triple CC, nice and quick, huh? This one, which has been a bit more popular in TvP as well, just like the very fast 3 bases, and then playing out from there. So it's going to be very fast 3 bases, and then an extra barracks behind it as well. So very kind of down to basics for ByuN, and it's going to be a lot of bio for a long time here.
Yeah, definitely. 2 Marines are out. Shouldn't be able to push back an Adept though. Not sure what Zoun is afraid of. Not sure what Terrans on Korea are capable of doing with 2 Marines, but to me that sounds like a fight that the Adept definitely can take. Especially knowing that the next 2 Marines were like, what, 10, 12 seconds away still? You can at least kill 1 Marine, then shade out, take maybe a little bit of hull damage.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Blink starting, by the way, here for Zoun as well, who's going to be going into a second Stalker. So Adept, Stalker, Stalker. Once again, no Reaper Wall, even though this map has the most beautiful Reaper Wall out of all the Reaper Walls that exist, Wardy.
Yeah, the one on the bottom side here. Why is it so beautiful?
Because you can wall it off and you can get a tech building without it ever being able to spot it. Like, they can't, if you think of Pillars of Gold, or you're thinking of I can't think of any other map name right now, Lightshade for example. The pylon needs to be part of the wall, and thus you can't really hide your tech. You can just deny the Reaper from jumping up. Actually build a battery in the main base, making sure that Reaper won't pull him apart. And Reaper is going to die. I don't really mind these batteries in the main base. I've seen it a lot. I've seen Neep do it a lot. I've seen a bunch of the guys in Korea do it as well. And honestly, I kind of like it. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I enjoy seeing it. Now here we have Blink into Robo, 4 gas before 3rd base. Wardy. Dang it, the Robo Bay already went down. I was gonna ask you,
it's okay.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah, I knew. 4 gas before 3rd base has to be a Robo Bay with Blink.
Yeah.
Can't be anything else. I don't think I've ever seen anything else with it.
Ah, you're incorrect. You watched Trap versus Innovation on Death Aura, in which Trap played 4 gas before 3rd base and then went Blink into DT drop. Very late DTs, and then afterwards went Robo Bay.
Yes.
This is the one scenario in which they play different, and that build actually worked beautifully for Trap. He did so much damage with the DTs, did a little bit of damage early on with the Stalkers as well. I remember Innovation opening up Raven in that game, but moving the Raven across the map because like, it's Blink, obviously. I can just move the Raven across the map. And as the Raven arrived on his side, the DTs came in and started doing damage. That was one hell of a game. I tried copying that strat, but not as much success as Trap had that game, I have to admit.
Was this yesterday?
No, it's 2.5 months ago.
2.5 months ago? Oh my god.
It was a very memorable game because it was such a cool mind game.
Sometimes the StarCraft all blurs into one.
Yeah, but that game I remember because it was so interesting. Such an interesting build that he played. Really cool to see that type of innovation. But we're watching Zoun now. Enough about the Trap versus Innovation game on Datara half a year ago. As we have +1 coming out, Colossi starting. Well, first Colossi is out already, and nice damage here that Zoun is doing. Now, there's something that bothers me a little bit. Whenever I play this build myself, you always notice, because your Robo starts after Blink. He didn't play Twilight Robo, he played Twilight, Blink, Robo. Your observers are going to be so late, and a lot of the time you can't even move them across the map, which means against triple CC, you don't know whether to build gateways or build safety units, or whether you can build probes. And as a result of that, right now we have Zoun down in workers, which is... This is the worst thing that can happen to a Protoss. Like, you never want to be down in workers against a Terran, and the supply is going to show this in the next minute and a half. I mean, right now ByuN's already up 20 supply, but he's gonna get up so much in supply. His infrastructure is looking very healthy as well, already going up to 5 racks. He has a factory constantly producing, his upgrades are gonna be good, and he's gonna hit such a powerful 1-1 timing, or maybe even just a pure +1 timing. I'm having a really difficult time seeing Zoun just hold this without having a battery at the third base, honestly. Oh wait, he has a battery, sorry, it was hidden. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's right behind the 2 Colossus, and 9 moves forward and you can see it, so...
Yeah.
It is there. 1 battery enough to make the difference. Catches the Prism, but good response from Zoun. Turns it around in an instant. Of course, ByuN is ready to head elsewhere. He could just dive in, and there's a battery there, but could maybe get the Robo. I guess the units are maybe a bit too close. Okay, now the Stalker's moving down, so that option isn't there. He does get the Prism in the end, though. But now he's also kind of cornered in the upper left. We'll have to try and find a way out. Shouldn't be too hard. There's no Stalkers left over, so he's out of there.
This was a very good fight by Zoun. Fantastic movement, good vision on the map as well. Absolutely loved how he played it. And Zoun has been gearing up for a +1 timing for quite some time now, by the way. He did lose the Prism, which means this timing is going to get a lot worse. He's going to go for a... Oh, but the blink forward is not what you want right now, Zoun. That is not what you want. Mines are burrowing. Still a lot of Marauders in this army as well. And with no reinforcements here, I think these Marauders might just be enough to take out a lot of the Stalkers at least. A lot of money in the bank right now for Zoun, of course. No Prism, no reinforcements, and you can just easily go back home to build a couple of Stalkers because you need to warp them in. In the end, this fight, honestly, not that bad for Zoun. Just that blink forward seemed a little bit yikesy, but he is still moving forward. Third Colossi should be out right now. Yes, it is a little bit too far forward. Another blink forward here, I wouldn't mind.
Okay, now he blinks in, he gets some medevac. Yeah, that fight was... It felt like the Marauders were starting to kill everything, but then it almost felt like their damage halted for a little bit. Everything kind of went slow motion. Now Zoun shows up, he's got 3 Colossi still, and this is where you run into a problem, right? You've not been successful killing a single Colossus, so now you still have to fight 3 Colossi with basically no tech to deal with it. The third base just dies. I mean, doesn't even attempt to get away. And suddenly ByuN is in a world of trouble. Okay, he's got a base down the bottom side to basically act as a reinforcement third, but... loses a Viking already as well. A couple of Widow Mines wander in, and ByuN is, dare I say, just falling apart right now to this.
Yeah, it's very funny because this build looks extremely broken when you play it, the Colossus Blink one. But there's actually a tiny error that ByuN made, and that's that you can't really engage this army in the middle of the map. What you need to do is you need to go around. GG gets called. While I finish my sentence, is that what ByuN needs to do is he needs to go around with his... That's why you split 2 armies, and then if you see Zoun move out on one side, you move the other army in, and you always either force part of the army to stay home, or you can just force a base trade in which the Terran starts killing buildings way faster, and then eventually he can come back home with the extra... I see how it is. You only give love when it's needed.
I just know how to abuse our relationship, you know?
Yeah,
I just get everything I need out of it, and then, you know...
Get
toss it
out
to
of
the
here, Wardy. I
wayside.
don't want to hear it no more.
Yeah, okay, I'm out of here.
Because of that, in the top left, spawning as a red Protoss player, we have Zoun, who's up 2-1 against the guy in the bottom right, who is the blue Terran. His name is ByuN. That's what you get.
You have no idea how fast I hit backspace, though.
Backspace does that? Nice, I didn't know that.
Swaps between bases, yeah.
Okay.
You've obviously never played Zerg back in the days where everyone thought backspace inject was OP.
No.
Yeah.
That was not for me. All right, what do we have here? We have a scout coming out. Standard barracks first. I mean, this is Death Aura. This is Death Aura classic stuff. You know, don't want to be doing too many weird things here. It's actually kind of easy to spot like proxies on this map as well. So I don't even like Terran doing proxies on this map too much. Man, this non Reaper walling. I think I'll have to copy it. I like the idea a lot. And I also like the blind battery in the main base. It costs 100, but I mean, you get a lot back for it as well, you know?
Well, I mean, it's useful against a lot of future stuff too, right? Not every game,
Yeah.
but in general, it's not like a bad investment in the long run.
Yeah, it's just these safety investments. Yeah, I like it. It's like it's one of these things where you forget that you have it, and then a Viking lands in your main base, and you just go, nice. Good attempt, Sol. And then a single Banshee shows up, and you go, hey, nice one, buddy. There's like a Raven with a turret, you know, there's just a bunch of air units that can fly in, or even like something like a 7 Marine drop that we saw earlier. If you have a battery against that, unless the Marines sync it perfectly, I don't actually think they can get a probe with that, like if they're kind of haphazardly shooting. And usually they don't shoot at the same time because they're dropping individually, you know, so you have a lot more time to react. Like a lot of these things are just so nice. Hellions, single Hellion run by, you know, with Reaper Hellion. Like, there's so many scenarios where that battery is great. I think it's just worth it to copy, honestly. It's what is 100 minerals at the end of the day. We have Chrono Boost anyway, we're rich, Wardy.
I mean, Terran has mules though, you know, like they should just build 4 bunkers. If you think about it, a mule is like 2.7 bunkers or whatever. So,
ooh, 2.25 bunkers, Wardy.
Oh, we changed it, didn't we?
Yeah.
I like to
actually
believe the mules are still
a mule is worth 3.46 SCVs or 3.96, depending. The near patches 3.46, the far patches 3.96. Did you know that?
It's a numbers game, mate. Of course I knew that.
It's a numbers game. It is a numbers game. I actually looked it up today, and I still feel like I got some of the numbers wrong. So.
I just sort of like listened. It went straight over my head, and I was just like, mules, baby, they're great.
Yeah. They're very, very good. Okay, Reaper is gonna get the scout on the Stargate. Now, this is of course the downside of not having a Reaper wall, is that you're very often gonna get scouted. Honestly, on this map, you're always gonna get scouted though, because this is one of the maps where you need to pylon in the wall to make a Reaper wall, which means your tech is just gonna get spotted, whether you want it or not. I actually prefer this. I see so many advantages to this. Probe is gonna die on the other side of the map, and Zoun sees that there's 5 Marines. This is gonna be the same map as same build as we saw. I think it was Pillars, right?
Yes.
The map that ByuN won? Yeah.
Yes.
So this is... and it was the same exact scenario as well, Phoenixes.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mirror of that game number 1, because we had the Adepts exactly like this, sat up on the wall waiting to receive, and they obviously didn't turn out the way you had to do that like swap-a-roo with the Phoenix and the Adepts. And then ByuN kind of dove in with the anti-armor missile and had success, as right now the medevac is just not allowed across the map, so this is great.
Yeah,
I mean, this is shutting down the dragon at its head, or whatever you say.
Yeah, I don't think that's what you say.
I don't think that's what we say at all, but, you know, sometimes you try and be clever and you realize you don't know what the frick's going on, so you just go with it.
Did you see the Phoenixes?
No, I was busy laughing at myself.
Okay, there was 2 Phoenixes. Oh, he's moving the Adepts to the main. That's an error.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was 2 Phoenixes in the main base. He lifts 1 SCV, and he lifts the second SCV before he kills the first one, and none of them shoot anymore.
It's just that awkward moment they look at each other like, mate, we had one job.
Yeah.
It's like, you drop yours. No, you drop yours.
Yeah, sometimes what happens is that you drop one too late, and then both of them drop at the same time. So you cancel one, and the other one ran out. It's like, oh my god, I'm a complete idiot. You just want to end it. It's so awful. Nice movement with these Phoenixes, by the way, checking the entire left side of the map, making sure nothing can get by there. Allows him to kind of keep those adepts close to his natural. I'm not a massive fan of the positioning there, but I guess he will have to do. He's gonna get a couple of workers here. This is good for Zoun. This is so much better than the game on pillars. We've seen Immortal coming out, as well as a Robobait. A Robobait is a little bit delayed, but still should be capable of getting at least a single Colossi out before the stim finishes. Now we have 2 tech labs going ham on those Marauders. There's already 2 Marauders out and a couple of Marines are being produced extra. Whenever you see 4 Marines like that, you always want to lift them, and I honestly think you should. Like, it's just good to do. Whenever there's Marines, like, even against 5 Marines, if you have 4 Phoenixes, I feel like a lift is the move, you know, it is the play. We have a battery, by the way, in the main base here for Zoun, so that 8 Marine drop, as long as there's no stim, shouldn't be too dangerous. Observer is going to spot that there's a move out. It's going to be able to pick off both of these mines. It's nice to pick off mines, but it's not the biggest deal, because you already have a Colossi and you should have some type of detection. 2 more Marines are going to go down as the 8 Marine drop is quickly approaching the main base of Zoun.
How much do 8 Marines do against a battery if they don't have stim?
It takes a while, I
Yeah,
think. Like I said, I think if you sync it up, you can clear stuff, but this is what happens first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta wait for everything to drop, and then you maybe target fire to start one-shot. Or in this case, you don't. Super battery is here. Stalker goes down. But I mean, now you get units in the way, and Phoenix is still trying to intercept other medevacs and so on. And so the rest of, the other attack from ByuN is just not lined up yet. Finally, Stim is ready, and well, I mean, he's still doing stuff in this main base, but the units are here to turn it around. I mean, the biggest problem for Zoun is that his own Warlocks are hurting him at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. It's very annoying, but third CC gets halted here. There is batteries everywhere just for Zoun. This is looking fantastic for Zoun. He's up 20 workers at this point. The third CC got delayed because of the Phoenixes. Good force fields coming out. Oh my god, this game is looking so bad for ByuN. He's going to lose this medevac. I think he lost. I think he lost all of his pressure on the map right now. I mean, what's he going to do? He's going to lose this Marauder, loses 3 medevacs.
Just loses absolutely everything. I mean, yeah, what do you do? Build 2 more barracks at home, apparently, and start praying, I guess, because this attack right now, Zoun obviously knows what he just kills. He knows he has some potential. He's got the Observer here, so he sees what he's attacking into. Yeah.
We have Thermal done already. These mines are going to be... There's 5 mines, and all of them are useless. That's 5 factory units. What? Why are you picking them up? The madman.
I mean, just unnecessary.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't give a crap. He's like, I have so many units. It is dangerous, though, when you're attacking like this without a prison, because this army is very, very, very vulnerable. Here we do see an SCV pool, and ByuN smells his opportunities. Like, I want to kill those Colossi. If I get those Colossi, maybe I have a chance, but... Hey, Zoun is getting a fort base behind this. He's adding more gateways. He's not even thinking about killing, but he just canceled. He forced the cancel on the orbital command. This base is gonna die. There's no SCV. Oh my god. That was a rookie move, but... what a rough game here for ByuN, who's picking up with everything, forgets to click where to go. So just boosted into a pillar, basically. That actually takes a little bit of momentum away from him. He had a little bit of momentum. If he gets a full drop into the main base, I mean, there's 8 gates available and charge is done. I'm still not really feeling it, honestly, Wardy, but he's not even gonna be able to get into the main base at this point. There's 3 Phoenixes out there in position.
I think it's the right idea. It's just Zoun kind of knows, and even if you get that, like you say, there's probably a defense, but what else are you meant to do? It's not like headbutting at the front is likely to do much. You gotta go do some damage. Maybe if you get in the main, you shut down all the production or some key upgrades, and yeah, maybe then it's playable and you can follow up and hit the 4th base or something. But yeah, it's obviously we can see it's not working out. ByuN trying to rebuild the 3rd as he'll run up here, and he doesn't even get the pylon before being forced away. Double cannons will do that, and that's the amazing part for Zoun, right? Like, he's just set up to be super safe against anything that can happen. There's no position that's just breakable in the slightest.
Yeah, he's lacking a little bit of vision on that right side. He has a weirdly positioned observer above one of his own pillars between the natural and the 3rd. And it's not even in observer mode. He does have gravitic boosters. I mean, he's getting a dark shrine, double disruptor production. He has 3 cannons on both of his outside. He's getting 5 cannons on his 4th base. And his opponent just threw down his first mules on the 3rd. Like, Zoun is probably already considering starting air weapons at this point. So like, I feel like carrier wouldn't be too bad. Like, this game is so freaking good for him. ByuN kind of double expanded at the same time. Ghosts are starting. I'm not sure where the factory's flying. Just gonna be a spotter, I guess, for now. I just don't see a solution here for ByuN, honestly. Like, what is his solution? Can he sit back and camp? I don't even think he can defend a fort base.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you try and sit back, Zoun's maxed out, right? So he's going to start moving.
Yeah.
And then what? You're taking a fight against, well, all of this tech, right? Disruptors and Colossus with 3 Ghosts, 2 Vikings, couple Mines. It's not enough. Even if you hit perfect EMPs, the numbers are just good enough for Zoun to push through anyway. So, yeah, what is the right choice? Maybe somehow try and force the base trade? And
It's the only thing I can see, honestly.
Yeah.
But the thing with the base trade here is that DTs are going to be so strong, disruptors are going to be too powerful.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's still not good. It's just the best of all the bad options, I guess.
yeah, here we go. A couple of disruptors being shot forward. This third base is just going to fall. The SCVs are going to have a good disruptor hit. On top of that, 9 SCVs and a bunch of Marauders. I think this is just going to be where the GG gets called. Zoun beats out ByuN and actually advances on to the semifinals where he will be facing Trap. So a PvP semifinal is something we don't see that often these days.
Not even Trap, though. Different side of the bracket.
Oh, it's different side of the bracket?
Yeah,
Dang it,
we changed the order to do the
Who's he
replays
playing?
last. He's going to be playing Ragnarok.
Whoa, that's a rough match as well.